Kim. Today is July 31st, 2021, and I went to my local Ramey's this morning, and these are the items I picked up. I got some markdown items. Let's just start over here. They had on the Friday, Saturday specials, they had these Michelina frozen meals. Again, they had these a few weeks ago, but they're 78 cents each, a limit of 4. So I got just 4 different ones. I got a teriyaki chicken, chicken fried rice, Salisbury steak, and pasta with white chicken, peas, and carrots. So my daughter enjoys these for like lunches and whatever, snacks. I mean, there's not a whole lot in here. Sometimes she just uses that as a snack. But yeah, 78 cents each, so that's a decent deal there. The spaghetti squash are $1.49 a pound. So the small one is 2 1/4 pounds, and the big one is 3 1/4 pounds. So $3.34 for that one, $4.89 for that one. And then they had some green peanuts. They're green peanuts, are also called raw peanuts, but these are peanuts for boiling. And they are just in a scoop, and I scooped out enough that will go over here in my crock pot, and I'll show that in a little bit. So the peanuts are $2.49 a pound. This is a little over 3 pounds. So they were $7.69 for that bag. And boiled peanuts, you need a lot of salt. So I just went and got the cheapest container of salt I could find. That's 59 cents for that salt. And they had, on the sale this week, they had these the St. Louis style pork spare ribs for $1.98 a pound, and we've got, let's see, $1.98 a pound, and we're almost 4.5 pounds here for $13.08. They were almost out of these, so I just did get there in time. And on the markdown meats, these little ground beef packets are normally in the pick 5 for $19.99, but these didn't sell yesterday, so they marked them down. So $3.35 for this one, and $3.35 for this one, and it's over a pound. And also in the markdown meat, this is a big pack of ground chuck, and almost 4 pounds, and it was marked down from $19.07 to $15.36. So I think what I'm going to do with this is probably just divide it up into burger patties and freeze them. That is everything I got at Ramey's this morning. So here is my receipt, and my subtotal before tax right there was $54.77, and with tax $58.60. And the Bible verse they gave us today is in Luke. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get these peanuts going. So I've dumped them in I have one really big colander. I dumped it in here. I'm going to take these to the sink and wash them real good, and then I'll put them over here in my crock pot. The peanuts are now in my crock pot, and it's just over 3 pounds filled up my crock pot, and this is a pretty big crock pot. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is add a whole bunch of salt. So what you've got to realize is the salt has got to get all the way through the shell and into the peanut inside. So it takes a lot of salt. A lot of salt. So let me just, this is what I do. I start pouring it on. And I know, yes, it does look like a lot of salt. A lot of salt. But it takes that much. If you don't put enough salt in these, the peanuts inside the shells will just be so bland and really not worth eating. So if you're going to go to the effort to make your own boiled peanuts, you really need to salt it. And you know, when you think you've got too much salt, add a little more, because it really does take that much. I probably used 1/3 of this container of salt. The next thing I'm going to do is add some of this Zatarain's shrimp and crab oil. This gives it a really good flavor. Now, you don't have to add this. Many times I've done it with just the salt and the water. But I'm going to add this because it does give it a good flavor. Now, this stuff is really concentrated. This does not take much. So just probably going to do that's between 1 and 2 tablespoons. It doesn't take much because it's really, really concentrated. The next thing I'm going to do is get some hot water and add it to the pot. The water has been added, and I just added enough water to when the peanuts started to rise and float, that's when I stopped adding water. So most of the salt has washed in, and the shrimp and crab oil has mixed in with that water. And I'm going to let this go on high for about an hour, and I'll come back and stir it. But this is going to probably take 4 or 5 hours to cook in the slow cooker. Now, I could do this in my Instant Pot, and it would go a whole lot faster. But I've got a bunch of things I need to do today. It is a Saturday, and I've got to get my grass cut. It's not going to rain today, but it's very hot, and it's going to take me a while because I'll have to take frequent breaks. So I'm just going to let this cook all afternoon, I guess. But I'll come back and show you what it looks like shortly. Since I'm cooking boiled peanuts, I thought I'd tell you a little story about boiled peanuts from when I was a child. Now, we always had boiled peanuts. You could, in the South, and you still can now, you could just be driving down the highway and see a sign that says boiled peanuts, and you stop over and you get a bag. And they sell you a bag of boiled peanuts along with a separate bag for your shells, to put your shells in, so that you could just eat the boiled peanuts driving down the road. And but my granddaddy, okay, let me back up. My mother's parents were Grandma and Granddaddy. My father's parents were Nana and Pawpaw. That was my mother's dad, who loved boiled peanuts. Well, there came a time when Grandma and Granddaddy were living next to my grandma's sister. And that's Aunt Gracie. Aunt Gracie had a garden. And my granddaddy says, please, please, can you plant peanuts in the garden this year? And so one year she did. And peanuts, not everybody knows, but most people probably do. But for those that don't know, they grow underground, kind of like potatoes, and you have the greens that come up the top. So when they're ready, you pull them up, and you got the little peanuts dangling. So when the peanuts were ready, Granddaddy would go out there and he would pull the peanuts out of the ground, clean all the dirt off of them. That's why they're so dirty, because they grow underground. And he would, then you got to pick them all off of the green. And he would put them in a big pot on the stove with a ton of salt, just like I did. And he would boil those all afternoon. It would be like a Saturday, and he would boil them all afternoon. And he loved them so much, after about an hour of them boiling, he would go into the kitchen and grab a little coffee mug with peanuts. Just to, I'm just going to test the peanuts. And of course, they're still raw. They got to cook a long time to get soft. And he would finish that little cup and wait a little bit. Well, I think I'll test it again. By the time the peanuts were done, they were almost gone, because my granddaddy kept testing the peanuts. He couldn't wait for the peanuts to get cooked. That's how much he loved them. But, that's one of my memories as a child growing up with the boiled peanuts. Of course, the other memory is, oh, please, Daddy, stop. Look over there. They're selling boiled peanuts. Let's go get some. So you stop and you get some. And they're so good. They're so good. But yeah, they're seasonal, and when they're in the store, I buy them. When they're not in the store fresh, they sell them in a can, and those are good. But then nothing beats boiled peanuts, fresh boiled peanuts. Okay, the peanuts have been cooking for, I don't know, probably an hour or so, something like that. I'm just gonna stir these around, make sure all the salt and that shrimp and crab oil is mixed in here. And you can, gosh, they are so hard. They are going to take a while. They do cook a whole lot faster in the Instant Pot, but I've got so much to do today, I would just rather let them sit here in my crock pot and cook. But it does smell very good. It's that shrimp and crab oil that's making them smell so good. But I'm just going to let these go all afternoon probably, and they are on high. Boiled peanuts are now done. I've turned these, well, actually I moved them down to low, and these are so good, y'all. These are so good. kind of did my granddaddy's trick. Both me and my daughter did it. You know, come get a few, go sit down and eat them. Even though they weren't done, they were still amazing. But yeah, well, I guess I don't even eat them on low. They're done. So I'm just going to turn them off, let them cool, and we can just kind of eat as we go. But y'all, boiled peanuts, so good, so good. If you can get a hold of green peanuts or raw peanuts, this is the easy way to cook them. You can definitely cook them on the stove, just boil them, and it takes a long time. But you know, this takes, you don't have to tend to it at all. So yeah, it probably about 4 hours is what this took in my crock pot. Well, there's my grocery haul for today, and also a little quick how-to on what to do with green peanuts, raw peanuts. It's just what we do in my family, and they're really good. And if you can get raw peanuts or green peanuts in your area, this is the easy way to do them. You can definitely do them on the stovetop. You have to boil them. You bring them to a boil and put them on low and simmer them for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. I don't know. But, you know, this, putting them in the crock pot allowed me to, you know, just do other things that I needed to do today. And now we have boiled peanuts. Well, that's going to be it for this video. There's my grocery haul. There's my boiled peanuts. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.